Kanakitpit and welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Dennis Allen. We've got an exciting episode for you this week. We bring you the story of two brothers whose heritage began on Herschel Island where their mother was born. Fred and Terry Camsell work aboard the MV Norweta, a cruise ship that goes up and down the Mackenzie River. We spent a day with the Camsells and we bring you that story.
My name is Terry Camsell and I'm the captain of the Norweta. Well, I started my career on the river in 1973, and I worked on the river for a number of years, but then I moved offshore when the Beaufort Sea exploration started up. I actually started out on working on the water, fishing on Great Slave Lake when I was a kid. My mother was born on Herschel Island. She's Inuvialuit, and but she was orphaned, so she was sent to the mission school in Hay River when her parents passed away. Her father was actually part of the Lost Patrol, so he died in 1910, and her mother died shortly after she was born.
Calgary, actually. No, I didn't say she
My
was.
job is to tell them where we are and what's going on and what has passed. The history of the town, the history of the river, I do this daily, and I keep a running log of where we are, and they know exactly where we are, what is they're going to see next. So I'm available all the time for questions from the customers and that sort of thing. I'm coming home when I come here. The only reason it's much more comfortable living in the Okanagan during the winter months than living in the north. So the reason I come back is because this is my home. I know all the people along the river. Some I've known for many, many years, and it is like coming home.
We're alongside the Inuvik dock in Inuvik, and we're just changing out the passengers. We bring a load of passengers from Hay River, and we come down here, and they fly home from here, and then we load on a new set of passengers and take them back up the river to Hay River. Oh, yes.
My mother was a Carter. Her father was Sam Carter, who was part of the Lost Patrol, and there was only two children, her and Sam Carter, who ended up staying at Cambridge Bay. Like, he went to school in Hay River also, but he went back to the coast. My mother stayed there. It was built in 1971 by Don Tetral in Manitoba, brought here, and it was made for river traffic, hauling passengers up and down the Mackenzie. But he only did that for, I think, 3 years or 4 years. Then it went to the Beaufort Sea when the big oil boom was on as a rig tender. And that lasted till the whole thing collapsed. And then it sat in tuck for a number of years. And then my sister and her husband and their son bought it 1991 and had to be refurbished to standards for today.
This is kind of interesting because this is the river charts are very different from ocean charts. These are called channel charts, so they follow the river all the way down, and it's not necessarily north up as a normal chart is. And so what we do is we just use this little chart holder that you can roll the chart as you go along, as you go down the river. Over here, these are the engine controls. There's actually 3 engines on board here. Now, they're fairly small engines, and the reason we have 3 is you need that bit of extra power on the way back up the river because in order to get through the rapids, you need more power. This is the readout for the radar that normally we use on the river, and it gives a picture of the the river as you're proceeding down the river. So in times of darkness and fog, you can actually rely on the radar a lot more. Oh, this is the searchlight that as you're going up or down the river and you're traveling at night, All of the ranges on shore and the buoys all have reflective tape on them, so you can use the searchlight to spot the buoys and spot the ranges as you're proceeding up and down the river. As we get up to the next deck above the boat deck, we have another area up here that the passengers can sit and relax on nice days and watch the scenery. This is an open area out here, of course, and it's offers probably the best view, I guess, of the river. This area here is where all the passengers do all their dining and also relaxing. It's a great view out the windows here as well. So we keep a lot of the history of the North, a lot of books about the history of the North in our library here. So the passengers can actually read up and learn about the North on the way down as well. At this end of the lounge is where we have the bar, and the passengers also have a washroom here that they can use. And so this is where the passengers spend a great deal of their time socializing, watching the scenery, and reading or enjoying the cruise, yes. And this is an observation area where passengers spend a lot of their time sitting out here and watching the Mackenzie River scenery go by. They love this area because it's such a great view, eh?
We'll be right back with more of SUAANGAN, Our Strength. Welcome back to SUAANGAN, Our Strength.
We're out on the boat deck now, it's called. And these are life rafts that can hold the complement of the passengers on board. They're the Beaufort life rafts, fairly standard on ships nowadays, that will inflate once you throw them overboard and in case of an emergency, get the passengers off. As we proceed back to the after part of the vessel, this is like a working area part of the ship where a lot of the stuff is stored. We have to carry our garbage, of course, and dispose of it in communities once we arrive. And that's just a little workboat that we use for running around. A lot of the other cruises that the vessel does is East Arm fishing trips, and so they carry a number of small aluminum boats with them when they go up there to take the fishermen out on fishing expeditions. This is the lifeboat. Now, this was traditionally, of course, required by ships to carry, and it's still a requirement, but it is not as practical as the life rafts. The life rafts offer a lot more protection if you were in an emergency situation, but we still carry this as another means of disembarking and if there was a problem with the ship. Up here we have the radar scanners. The bigger one there is from the older set that functions as a standby unit, and the smaller round one there is the radar unit that we primarily use for navigation. This little unit there is for the GPS. That's the satellite receiver, and there's all the other standard stuff up there that all ships have: anemometers, loud hailer system, navigation lights, antennas for the radios, etc. The height of the water in the spring is governed by the snowpack in the up the Liard and also up the Athabasca, and that kind of gets the first rush of water, if you will. But then if you don't get any rain up in the mountains after that, then it starts petering out throughout the summer. So right now it's lower than normal for this time of year, and it's not really a problem now, but it will be a problem in later August and September if they don't get the rains up in the mountains. come up to the forward part of the vessel here, and we'll have a look at a room that's already done. You can have a look here. This is one of the typical suites that each room has. This the double bed here, and each room has its own toilet facility, shower, and washroom. So they're outfitted quite nicely. I mean, always on a ship, it's not as roomy as it is ashore. So passengers are used to that. I mean, traveling on ships, a lot of passengers have already done that already. So
the original Cils was a chief factor at Fort Simpson. He had 9 children, but most of them were born Fort Liard. And then he moved to Fort Simpson as chief factor, and most of them were raised in that area and went to school in Winnipeg. So that's the original guy was there. Now my grandfather's one of the children, and he ended up working with the Hudson Bay Company for many, many years also. And he also was at Fort Simpson for a while. He was at Resolution and various places like that. So that's how the Cils got to be so prominent in this area.
there is marine history in my family because, well, my father worked on the distributor for a while, the Mackenzie River sternwheeler, and both my grandfather and my great-grandfather were with the Hudson Bay Company, and one of my great-uncles was also a captain on the river back in the late or early 1900s on the sternwheelers on the SS Mackenzie, and his name was James Mills, and Mills Lake is named after him, and he was one of the, well, you know, the first captains on the Mackenzie River on the sternwheelers.
The Midway Lake Music Festival celebrated its 19th year this year, and SUAANGAN was there to bring you some of the magic that happens in the foothills of the Richardson Mountains. We'll be right back with more of SUAANGAN, Our Strength. Welcome back to SUAANGAN, Our Strength.
So they call it devil dreaming. I like it. That's this is like first square dance, second square dance, last one they call it breakdown, and it sounds like this: dying, boy, I like it.
the pipeline, the all-weather road in between Tuck and Inuvik.